All right, Mills and Ben, I have a question for you guys.
Okay.
Would JMU beating Oregon be the greatest giant slaying in college football history?
Hmm.
There have been some good ones, too. So you got the App State beating Michigan in the Big House.
Right.
You got JMU beating Virginia Tech when they were top 10 back in 2011. Uh, there was one team that beat an SEC team. I forgot who. There was a big one there. The
The
Citadel.
Citadel
The
Bulldogs.
the Citadel did. Okay.
I I agree with Mills. Definitely has me on the historical part of it. But if we just look at like the gravity of it, yeah, definitely probably the biggest upset. I would
I,
say UMBC level, if you had to ask me.
yeah, that's actually probably the closest comparison. We'd have to go outside of football to find something even remotely close to this.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you've been following on X and JMU Sports News has been doing a great job of tweeting at Oregon. They're
Bravo.
calling they've been doing a lot of the miracle United States versus Russia. So you could kind of go that route. But yes, if you're in the landscape and definitely everybody wants the group of five out of the playoff, this would be the biggest upset in college football history.
uh, we had two of them. South Carolina was big for the Citadel, and then my sophomore year we beat Georgia Tech, so that was a big
Hmm.
one. But at the same time, playoffs weren't on the line,
Right.
so like that, I think this might actually be the greatest giant slaying of all time if it were to go off.
I
And
mean, you could also say Tulane, Ole Miss too. Tulane's out there.
that's true. That's true. I don't know, like
Oh,
Tulane is like baby Power Five at this point. They're getting there.
yeah.
I think it's Rocky Apollo Creed. Here we go. So
Yes.
Yeah. All right, love it.
And whatever Twitter craziness aside, I will be rooting for the JMU Duke Dogs to go all the way. Shout out my man Mills with the JMU hat on. We got to represent for the state of Virginia. And with
Great.
that, we'll get to the flagship institution in the state of Virginia, the Virginia Cavaliers. And with that, welcome to the 4-3-4 defense. My name is Deuce Prince. I'm a Charlottesville native, lifelong UVA football fan, and former college offensive lineman at the Citadel. I got the jersey framed and put up. And with me, I have two very, very special guests, two parts of one of the best trios in UVA football content, whom I have proudly repping on my Yeti, the Cardiac Who's. Mills, Ben, how we doing, guys?
Doing
we're
great. Thanks for having us on.
Absolutely, man.
yeah,
It's a pleasure.
we're great, man. I wish Sean was here. Sean, Sean's got a new baby, man, as of yesterday.
Wow,
Uh,
bravo, Sean. There we go.
Good work, Sean. Maybe he's going to be a big kid, so maybe Central UVA guy right there. So we'll see. We'll see where
Coach
he lands.
Coach Heffernan, get on the phone, man.
What was he? 9 pounds, Mills? 10 pounds? I
Yeah,
don't know.
it was like 9 and 8, 13 ounces. It was a big boy.
Man, get
Just
this
round
kid.
up. He was 10 pounds. Round up. He's a bowling ball, so
Yeah.
we're all about that.
First steps in the squat rack. Let's get it going.
Right, for sure.
But man, that's awesome news. Good for Sean. If there's an excuse not to be on, I think that's probably the best one possible. But we're not
We try
lacking.
to heckle him in. We try to heckle him to get on through the at the hospital, but I don't think his wife allowed that one.
I would feel terrible being a part of that. Sean, go please enjoy your new child. And speaking of all things being new, this child's been born into UVA being a football school. How about that?
Yeah.
I, I think all good things happen when we beat Tech. I believe I got married the year that we beat Tech, and back then, and here we go. We got another baby. We got a new child on the way. So I mean, I'm telling you, good things happen when we beat Tech.
The stars are aligning, and obviously next week, which I can't believe that's going to be basically 8 days in a couple hours from now, the Virginia Cavaliers versus a very different Missouri team than we thought we would be playing. This Missouri team has changed a lot. Go Mills.
No, I was gonna bring it up later because Ben and I have been going about this all day, and I've been texting with you, dude. So we'll bring that up later. But you are correct. Question: You are going to the game, correct?
Yes, I will be in Duval County. Are you guys going?
I am not. I am not. Did
We're
not
we're
make the trip south.
all of us are just not at that level. I think like a few years from now, when our kids are a little bit older, we can just bail on the families and just go. So, I heard you the other day talked about this is a 5 year, 10 year process. Hopefully, we have more bowl games to go to, and we will, and we have more stuff to go to and get away from the family on these opportunities. And I don't mean that in a bad way, get away from the
Yeah.
family, but yeah, definitely, I 100% want to go. Man, I'm just bummed out we can't go and get there. So I think tickets are going for pretty cheap. You think we're gonna have a good turnout or not?
I think we're gonna have pretty good turnout. From the people I've talked to, there are quite a few people making the trip.
Good.
I think people are taking advantage of it. The tickets weren't bad, and like, for me, this is outside of playing at Miami, this is the easiest drive I'll have
Yeah, I think
because
Right.
Mills is hoping for a Miami trip in a couple of weeks, by the way, just so you know.
oh, hey now.
So I was gonna go to I was gonna go to Oregon, dudes, but my wife who's sitting over there, she definitely can hear me. I was gonna go to Oregon. I got the okay to go to Oregon, and then there's the little two things. It's our 5 year anniversary on
Oh,
tomorrow, and my wife is the maid of honor in a wedding on Saturday. So she kind of hit me with, so you're gonna miss our 5 year and you're gonna let me go solo dolo to a wedding by myself. So I punted this game to Eugene and
you know what?
she gave me the green light to go to Miami if they win. So I will be in Miami. So
I think that's a fair trade. I think that's a super fair trade.
Uh,
yeah.
but yeah, you're 100% right, Deuce. This Missouri game is shaping up far differently than we originally thought. So a lot of news hit today, I imagine.
Yes, so Mills, were you looking to get into the Missouri transfer stuff later? Because I will punt this to later because I was going to go over this.
No, just get into it.
Okay.
It's a big thing.
It
It bothers Ben a lot
okay.
that these kids bail.
All
I
right.
know.
So I feel like we'd be kidding ourselves if this started with anyone other than Bo Pribula. Bo obviously transferred from Penn State when Drew Aller decides to come back, has probably the best September of any quarterback in college football. Like September Maryland is a thing, but Bo had a great September.
He had a great September. Also, was the Alabama game, was that September too or
I think that was
October?
the
Because he put
last week in September.
okay, so yeah, he's gonna get paid. He's gonna get Johnny football money.
I think he can probably punch his ticket. I would feel amazing if they said, Chandler's not able to get another year of eligibility and Kalen's not the answer. If they said we went out and got Bo Pribula, I'd be on the hype train. I'd be there.
I'm
I'm all
I'm
for
wondering
that.
if he's going to go back to Penn State. To be honest with you, I
I,
mean,
I'd be interested in seeing that. Matt Campbell obviously is looking for maybe some continuity at Penn State with some of the things that did go well. And, to James Franklin's credit, regular season quarterback play until last year was really damn good.
right?
So who knows?
I mean, also remember who recruited him, James Franklin.
Yes.
So, and he's at that other school that we don't speak of.
Oh Oh boy, don't we're not manifesting this, okay?
Okay, I'm just saying.
Well,
So
there. Uh-huh. Go ahead.
we got James Madison the second for Mizzou hitting the portal. Got a couple of other guys. It seems like they got a lot of young guys hitting the portal. Some of guys are sitting out. I know Josiah Trotter is sitting out the Gator Bowl. Their tight end, oh my goodness, Northman or Northam is missing the bowl game as well. I have not heard anything about their running back Ahmad Hardy. And from the Mizzou
There's been a
film I've
lot
watched,
of
this is the
stuff.
guy.
I mean, he was the SEC Rusher of the Year, hands down.
Yes.
He is. There's a lot of speculation that he's going to hit the portal and he's going to go to wherever school he wants to go. Um, where did he go before Missouri? He was at a. Was he at
So he was oh my
He was
goodness.
at Louisiana Monroe. He was at the Sun
Yes.
Belt, and he tore. Yeah, so he tore it up at the Sun Belt as well.
What's
So
also what's also interesting is, behind their leading rushers, they have another great running back. I think he's got, I'll just go round up. He's got nearly 700 yards this year. So they have another great tool in him. But I think another wrinkle in all of this is the fact that their OC is moving on too. And I'm not sure if he's going to be coaching or not coaching. That's going to be real interesting to see. Kirby Moore, um, Kellen Moore's, I guess, brother. So
yes, his brother.
yeah,
No,
I don't know if he's little brother or big brother, but nonetheless, like that's a big piece. I don't know if he's going to be leaving the team or not. This could be interesting to see how that plays out.
I haven't heard any determination yet. There's a lot of video of Kirby Moore in Pullman. So, that be that what it may. And Drinkwitz also with Bo, basically as soon as that news came out, Drink was on Twitter. He was like, "All right, we're rolling with the new quarterback. Let's go." So it was kind of like,
Yeah, I did
we're
see
on
that.
to the next one. I wouldn't be shocked if he is field testing a position coach or someone else within the organization to test them out at offensive coordinator for this game. And I think this is all trending towards, in terms of runtime, this being a very quick game because I think there's going to be a lot of running the football going on.
You would think, right? I think with Taylor, because Taylor's going to want to show out for the NFL scouts,
Hmm.
because he's done, correct? Or does he have one more year?
I believe he's done.
He's
Yeah,
out.
so
Yeah, way lead behind him, and I guess Taylor just got invited to the Senior Bowl, right?
Yes, Jamari got an invite to the Senior Bowl. I expect him to get touches. Whaley's obviously going to get touches. I was talking about this with Xander last night. I wouldn't be shocked if Noah Vaughn got a surprising amount of touches in this game just to get him rolling into next year
yeah.
because I expect him to be a main feature back next year for us, and so I think we're going to see 150 plus rushing yards for both teams in this game. And obviously, Chandler Morris, I think, brings a bit of an advantage at the quarterback position for us. So we'll probably have a chance to air it out a little bit more. I believe that Xander said that Charles Harris is trending towards not playing in the game, but haven't heard anything about Cam Ross. Eli Woods always were open. So like I'm not I'm not throwing any shade on our passing game yet. And Sage is playing too, so we'll have
Well,
guys.
that's good.
So, I mean, with the game, it sounds like it's like a weird. It's like a, and Mills probably will talk about this. It's almost like a mashup, kind of like the spring game where we may see some young players play. And I've been hearing a little bit about Zay Davis getting a little bit more run than usual. I wonder if
Yes.
we're going to see more of him in the running back position.
Well, and these bowl practices are always really critical because, it's those 15 extra practices or 11 extra practices that you get. And Tony hasn't had that at all. And so, you know, there are some coaches that that go full junction boys during this time, basically give the seniors and like the guys that have played a lot the whole time off and just run camp. I don't think Tony Elliott's that kind of coach. I think he's going to have a little bit more balance. Bill Snyder was famous for that. He would just like run dudes ragged before K-State went to a bowl game. But like I expect there to be a lot of rotation in this game. So I'm excited for it.
I mean, there's a lot of them on the line for this game, so it's not like a to me, it doesn't seem like an opportunity to try to roll guys out to see what we have. Like this is big. We want to put our best foot forward. This is 11 games, so I won't be really surprised if we don't see the usual with the guys that aren't transferring
Mhm.
aside. But I'm expecting us to play our regular guys out there, and I'm hoping that this game gets out of control and we're rolling and we're putting out our freshmen and guys that are redshirting as well. So.
Absolutely. And, what is your guys' feeling going into this game? Because I'm having some ACC versus SEC jitters. Like their line play is obviously very good up front for both teams, but I'm also at the same time getting kind of a growing sense of confidence leading up to the game, and it might just be my like fandom coming out, but like, is that what you guys are feeling?
So I think it's like a lot to unpack. So I think this conversation is kind of like twofold. So I'll let Mills kind of talk a little bit about like Mills's perspective is that bowl games don't really have much weight to them anymore. And I'm putting that kindly. I'm putting that very, very delicately. He says they don't matter anymore.
Hmm.
So, but to me, this game does matter a lot because it is a SEC foe. And how much in the media have we heard about, if UVA was in the SEC, they would be dot, 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 dot. And, if Missouri was, we haven't heard that conversation, but if Missouri was in the ACC, they would dominate. So,
Oh, don't worry. On the message boards, there's definitely someone from Cape Girardeau saying that.
in full disclosure, I have to say, like, this game is a little special to me because I have a lot of my family where my dad's from and where my brother's from and my grandmother as well, all Missourians. You know what I
Ooh,
mean? So, you
really?
know, and so this is kind of special to me. I was so excited to see that it was Missouri that was big just because of that. So,
But Mills, I don't want to cut you off, but hey, same thing. My dad's parents are from Independence, Missouri. Shout out the KC area. Like obviously my affiliation out there is with Kansas State. With my dad having coached there, but hey man, shout out Mizzou. And also a underrated Twitter fan base. Those guys are good. Like I appreciate all the content that those
Hmm.
guys make. Like they've been a good watch.
They do put out some good stuff. So to kind of like piggyback off what Ben said about how the bowls don't matter anymore. So I grew up with so my sister went to UVA and was a cheerleader there, and so that '02 to '06 when they were constantly going to the Continental Tire Bowl and yeah. But if you remember correctly, back in the day, there was only a handful of bowls. There was like 22, like 20, maybe, and you were fighting. Really, the main bowl you wanted to was the New Year's Sixes, right?
It was a it
And
was a
then
low it was a low tier bowl with Heath Miller versus Larry Fitzgerald.
right, but remember, Larry Fitzgerald sat out. He didn't want to play. He was like one of the very first that kind of like I'm not playing in this bowl.
Right.
Because he was a first round pick.
Yeah.
But now there's so many bowls. There's like bowls in Frisco in Texas, and no shout out to Frisco, Texas, but there's so many bowls that it's watered down. And now with the whole calendar, and I think that's the biggest issue is the calendar, that
Yeah.
these kids now have to enter the portal because they want to be seen and get picked up by other teams. That their window is like, well, I gotta do what's right for myself and not my team because I got to find a spot next year.
Hmm.
And that window is from January 6th or 2nd to the 16th, but they need to be in there so coaches can somewhat start talking to them.
Right.
Um, I told Ben if you knock down the playoff to 24 teams and then had a handful of bowls, I think that's the route to go. Like having teams that are 5-7 in a bowl game, that's just to me is watered down.
I see the argument. I think if maybe 7 wins was the requirement, I'd get down with that. Like you should be above 500 to go to a bowl
Correct.
game.
Correct.
you
I
shouldn't be
I
allowed to schedule an extra secret game like, who did just to sneak in.
Yeah.
right.
To
Well,
continue the streak.
the crazy theory, and I got this from my dad, was moving some of these lower tier bowl games to the spring because Fran Brown and Deion Sanders, I think, were legitimately onto something. if you're a Virginia
Having a
fan,
scrimmage.
it's still cold in Virginia in like March, April-ish at the conclusion of spring ball. If you told fans like, "Hey, we're going down to Boca Raton for the Boca Raton Poulon Weed Eaters Bowl," people would be excited.
Yeah,
Well,
I
the
think.
one thing, oh,
Uh,
go ahead, Ben.
no, I was just saying. I was telling Mills that I'm just worried about. Uh, I like the idea of just being creative with these bowl games and everything like that. But in terms of like them not mattering and folks sitting out, it's more so just like the slippery slope that it creates. Like, at what point do you say, okay, well, my team's not a college football playoff team, so I'm just gonna sit out the rest of the season. You know what I mean? Like, do we create that dynamic when we start sitting out in bowl games? And I think as a competitor, and I never played at that high level, but I played high school athletic, all various sports and stuff like that. But as a competitor, like you just want to see that in your guys. And that's what's great about UVA is that it doesn't seem like these guys have that mentality. Like they want to go out there and win that 11th game. Like it's a lot of folks that are on the UVA squad. It might be their last game. So, I mean, they really are hungry for this one. So props to them. And that's kind of how I see bowl games. And I do enjoy the conversations that we're having around like, can we do this with the bowl games to make it worthwhile? Can we do wild card teams for getting into the playoffs?
Yeah.
Move them at the beginning of the season. Um,
Yeah,
how that
that's
unpacks,
the
how that unpacks, I'm not quite sure, because you have a whole different team and everything like that. But yeah, I think they got to get creative with these bowl games and everything like that. So go
Right.
ahead, Mills.
Oh, go for it, Mills.
so what I was saying is like what I saw like with like Brandon from like Barstool and they did the whole like PFT, they all talked about it. He was saying if you move these games to week 0 or week 1 of the next season, like you're not having the cupcake games. You're putting bowl teams to against each other, and you're having the opening game is UVA Missouri, or even the playoff teams like JMU will open again with Oregon. It's one of those things. Like you
Yeah.
have these ideal, like you make college football the start, like boom, we're gonna hit you in the face. We're gonna set this tone with all these potential matchups. Yeah, the teams will be different, but it's just now that the money's involved and there's so many sponsors and transfer portals, it's to me it just shows that the bowls don't matter if you're not in the playoff.
So what you're saying is Rio Bowl every year, and we play week 0 in Rio de Janeiro, right? Is
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I mean, also, I think that the season should end January 2nd, and I'm a big
Yeah.
fan of putting the national championship. And I know it sucks for the East Coast people, but put it in the Rose Bowl. Have the Rose Bowl be the national championship site. And
Yes.
it sucks. Yeah, it sucks for the East Coast people because travel out there, but you end the season on January 1st with the Rose Bowl. I
You
think that
can't
would be
beat
a
it.
phenomenal. No, you can't. And then you can start January 2nd.
Hmm.
There's your portal. You open up and everybody can be in and the season's over with. So
Right.
that's my thoughts.
So
And
Deuce, what are your thoughts about this Missouri game and how you feel about it?
so I'll lead off with we're having kind of a nebulous discussion about bowl games and kind of poking a little bit of fun at like the Enron Bowl presented by FTX hosted in Omaha, Nebraska. We are not playing in that bowl game. We're playing in a legit bowl game. Like the Gator Bowl is
Correct.
a long-standing thing. There have been a lot of really good teams in this game. And so I think not only just the where we're at in the program is exciting, like I'd still be excited even if we were in the 68 Ventures Bowl with a chance to get 11. But you add it to a chance to play in an NFL venue. Obviously, both of these teams recruit Florida, recruit Georgia heavily. It's a great chance for a lot of players' families to come up or down to Jacksonville. It's a nice, easy location to travel to. Like, it's a 4 hour drive for me, so I'm totally biased. I'm like, hell yeah. But,
Nice.
I think this is going to be a very exciting game. We're going to see the best of for both teams. And I think we're going to see an exciting mix of new guys for both teams. Obviously, Mizzou rolling out a freshman quarterback. I do think that we are going to feature some more new weapons in this game in packages, not necessarily throughout the game. So, get a package in for Zay Davis or Noah Vaughn. But then again, but the lion's share will be going to Jamari so he can have his highlight game. And we have our best shot at winning when Jamari Taylor's on the field and carrying the
Right.
ball.
Do
So,
you see DK getting the ball any?
um, I could see a package with DK. I could see a goal line. I could see our goal line going through Daniel Kalen. I like him in goal line situations, wake game notwithstanding. Like, handles himself well in goal line situations. He's a bigger body than Chandler Morris, and like we shouldn't be doing QB sneaks with Chandler Morris. We really haven't done it all this year. We've usually used the direct snap, which is a good thing, but you know, Daniel Kalen does give you the opportunity to get a QB sneak in if you need extra yardage and stuff like that. And I thought he was our best. His reps and wake driving down the field before we got into the red zone, the best throwing over the middle of the field was Daniel Kalen in that weight game. Did a great job pushing the ball down the middle of the field, throwing in rhythm. Like, if we end up going to him for a drive or two, I want to see nothing but that. Throw with him between the hashes, get it to Cam Ross on dig routes or something like that, and just let him get in rhythm. Because when he's that, there's a very decent chance we could be seeing him out next year. So I think we see DK a little bit, but I do want to see Chandler Morris go out with a bang. We obviously don't know what his status is right now. And, if he is coming back, great. Let's have a great gangbusters game and run it back. Or if this is the last hurrah, like Gunslinger's going out with his boots on. I know that.
Right, but wouldn't you want to somewhat like maybe give him a couple more than a couple drives, back-to-back drives for DK? Because Elliott's got to see what he's truly have against real not live competition.
Yeah.
Because if we leave on Chandler and then NCAA says, nah, you don't get that seventh year, well, we didn't really get to see DK, but only a weight game when he was thrown in at the last second. And
Yeah.
I'd like to see him actually get a couple solid reps.
I could see that, and obviously the weight game left a bad taste in everyone's mouth about it. But those two fumbles he couldn't do again if he tried. So I don't necessarily want.
Right.
So you know what? If we get a chance to leave on a high note with him in this year going into next year, like I'm all in favor of that. And Tony's been no stranger to rotating guys in and stuff like that. So I could totally see this working. And shoot, we get a chance to see a couple of our young DBs play now with Jason Pervard heading into the transfer portal, which sucks. But
Hmm. Hmm.
we've got young guys that made plays, especially in the ACC championship game. So and I'm excited to see those guys play as well. And if you can't get up for this game against an SEC team that's as talented as Missouri, then I don't know what will.
I mean, they were top 10 for a little bit.
They had some legit motion, and they didn't lose any of these games horribly. They were
I
in
mean,
every single football game.
like the Vanderbilt loss, I just remember watching that one, and I think I even threw $5 on Missouri to win that one because the line was good. But I think like they lost that one, and then they lost to Alabama, but they lost to who
Oklahoma.
was the week Oklahoma afterwards after Vanderbilt. I mean, that's a tough stretch.
And that with Bo was hurt that game. It was just an ugly football game. I think it was 17 or 13-6. Like
Yeah.
just a rough football game. And then after that, they did respond well by beating Arkansas by a significant margin and basically not even trying to throw the ball. They used Bo as pretty much exclusively as a runner. And when I thought he was still going to be playing in this game, that worried me because damn, he's good when he's running the ball.
Hey, Deuce, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
As a former player, like as a senior, like what does this game mean to these? It's funny what he's saying now. These fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh year guys. Like, what is this? What's kind of what? I mean, I know you're not them, but is there a kind of a common theme that's going through their head and how they view this game? Like, it's their last one potentially.
I think it depends. If you know this is your last game, then there's a feeling of not only like the oh my God, my like I'm done playing football, that usually hits you like 6 months to a year after you're done playing and you're like, oh my God, it's fall and I'm not doing this again.
Right.
Because there is euphoria of, oh my God, I don't have winter workouts this winter. Like, but if you know this is your last game, you're gonna soak it up for all it's worth. And then there is a certain like anxiety if you don't know that this is your last football game. Say if you don't know if you're coming back or you don't know what your NFL prospects are, there's a lot of unknowns. For me, we didn't make the FCS playoffs my last game. We were playing Tennessee Chattanooga away in Chattanooga. Like, just kind of took a chance to soak it all in. Like, what these guys are going to remember is the pregame meal the night before, with the guys, or the last meeting or the last game plan. Like, there is a certain amount of bitter sweet nature to it. And I knew what this was my last football game. So I was kind of blessed in knowing that, like, hey, I got the absolute most out of my football talent and I got here at the end. Great. But this is definitely a bittersweet game for a lot of guys that are kind of like, oh my God, it's really over.
Yeah.
So
I
I
would,
mean,
it's
it's
a
also
funny
gonna be
it's
a
a funny
tough one.
thing. What's up?
Also, it's a tough time period because also like it's 2 days after Christmas, the holidays. Like these guys are, they're also itching to, like you say, be done and get ready for the next season. Kind of have that break.
Right. And thankfully, like these are guys coming out with UVA degrees. So for the most part, they kind of have a clue of what their next step in life might be. If you're a walk-on senior and you're traveling for this game, like you are soaking it all in. You're like, man, this is great. What a great way to go out. I didn't know I was gonna get a bowl game in my career. Like this is bonus. And
mhm,
the chance to do it in front of friends and family, like that's unparalleled.
Right.
absolutely.
If you've made it this far, it's clear that you love UVA football and appreciate what we do here at the 4-3-4 defense. And I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much to everyone who has liked, shared, subscribed, even just watched. Like, thank you so much. We're closing in on 100 subscribers here on the YouTube channel. I'd love to hit that before we enter 2026 and spring ball. So, yeah, thank you so much. We're going to get right back to the video, but I just wanted to say thank you and go Hoos. All right, now that we're back from our break, I do want to say, hey, Bodo's, Mincers, any place in Charlottesville, holler at your boy so we don't have to be on the free Zoom package and we can just do an unbroken Zoom. No. Mills,
Photos, hit them up.
Mills, it's funny you bring up the Continental Tire Bowl because
Oh, a
I
favorite.
was
I went
just
twice.
I was just talking about this with my girlfriend and she wanted to know like what was the first Christmas that I remember being like. So I was born in '99. So I was at Cornell when I was one, and then moved to UVA for the 2001 season. 2002, 2003, we make the Continental Tire Bowl. First Christmas I ever remember is in the hotel in Charlotte for the Continental Tire Bowl. So everything I had seen was like Santa coming down in the chimney to give the presents, and that's what everyone talks about. And then I realized, like 4-year-old me realizes that we are in a hotel room with no chimney, and so my dad's busy worrying about the game plan, how we're gonna beat Pitt, and I'm like, Dad, how's Santa gonna get into the room?
So that's wild. So, Deuce, we were at the same bowl. So I was also the year before in t 2002, and I just had to look it up because I forgot who they played. But that was the year they played West Virginia and beat the brakes off of them. It was
That's
48 to 22.
that was
That
the
was
game. Yes,
02.
that was the game, and that was also the game the band got banned.
Correct. Well, that was not the true band. That was the pep band.
Right, the controversy game.
And if you remember, they would have been all kicked out of school now
God, I was gonna
because
say, can you imagine that happening right now in like
could you imagine those songs that they played and the chants they said to those the states? Oh,
Hey,
that is
well,
a prime example of some of the things you cannot do in today's modern political climate.
hey, they're coming back in town, right? We got West Virginia coming up next year, right?
Yes,
It's in Charlotte. It's in
let's
Charlotte.
let's
Yeah.
let's
Oh, okay.
let's send the band back out there, the pep band, to call them a bunch of country yokels and see how that goes over.
They can burn
I
Also,
it.
just
also
remember.
side note, the editorial position of the 4-3-4 defense is that West Virginia is not a bunch of country yokels. I know a bunch of people from West Virginia. They are good, awesome, inventive, and smart ass people.
Also very shout out Pat McAfee. Y'all know how to party. Let's just
Yes.
throw it out there.
Shout out West Virginia. That was wrong of the UVA pep band. They got the punishment they deserved.
But no, I remember. So it was the Continental Tire Bowl, and then
It was the MPC Computer Bowl in Boise.
That's
I remember.
that's close to Enron Bowl right there. So,
Right. Like
But Deuce, what was the bowl in '05 that
that was
UVA went
Nashville.
to?
That was
That
Music
was a
City.
that was a fun bowl.
Yes.
So
That was the
yeah,
one
that's
bowl game I did not go to during that time period because we were literally in the process of moving to Manhattan, Kansas.
okay. Okay. But I have great memories of these bowls, and we talk about it. Like those bowls, like mean something. Like the Cheez-It Bowl means something. The Gator Bowl, the Outback Bowl. Um, your New Year's Sixes, but like now the
Yeah,
Pop-Tart Bowl. I wish we had the Pop-Tart Bowl because I
that
think
would
that
have
would have
been
been a
great.
great bowl.
As a
Yeah.
kid, this is awesome.
I mean, I will say that with the Pop Tart, it was kind of awkward the other day when I saw a video of them going to the helmet that's a toaster and then
Yeah.
putting that just I don't know. I do understand definitely 100% Mills' perspective. Like some of these bowls, like the Dave Portney Bowl or the
Oh
Gronk
God.
Bowl or whatever. You know what I mean? So like it just
Well,
go ahead.
it's the one that like bothers me is like the Xbox Bowl was in Frisco,
Oh
but
yeah.
there was no coverage of it. They're like ESPN had it on like ESPNU, wasn't even on ESPN or
Yeah.
ESPN2, and no one knew about it. And like the big thing about the Bulls, and dudes, you can kind of maybe back me up about this. It was the big thing was like, let me see the gear haul. Like I've been following JMU.
Yes.
The gear haul for JMU this week has been phenomenal. And now, granted, they're in the playoffs and Nike's hooking them up and blah blah blah. But like you're saying, like when those players go into the ballroom of the hotel and see all the Xboxes they're getting, you need to get to see any of that this year. It's just there's
That's
so many bowls. It's too much.
there was always a funny thing when we had a guy transfer to the Citadel to do like a fifth year, and he was coming from an FBS program because at the Citadel, it's a very Spartan lifestyle. It's a military school. We had a blue jersey and a white jersey, a white helmet, and white pants, and that was the extent of our uniform combinations, and the swag was nothing. And so we'd see these guys and go to like their apartments to hang out or whatever like that, and they just have duffel bags full of bowl swag, especially if they came from like a Power Five and God forbid made the college football playoff. Like they had more gear than they knew what to do with.
The so I was the when I was at JMU, I was the manager for the baseball team. Same thing, not to the extent of football, but first day of practice,
Yeah.
they hand you a whole duffel bag, and you're like, "What?" And you're just throwing out sweats and everything, just gear. You're like, "Holy moly, this is what it feels like." But
Yeah.
I
yeah,
went to a small D3 school my freshman year and played soccer, and we had to buy our own stuff. Not our jerseys, but like our warm up stuff. They're like, hey, we got a little discount for you with Under Armour. You can buy this. I'm like, okay.
They sent you the affiliate link. we
uh,
and the one thing I will say in defense of all this, the NFL is a very rational thing. Like the most irrational thing in the NFL is the Green Bay Packers, like why they're still a thing. We watch a fundamentally irrational endeavor. Mills, you didn't go to UVA. I didn't go to UVA. Ben, you didn't go to UVA, right? Like
Nope.
we bleed orange and blue for an institution we did not go to. Something that I had to explain to my buddy American TJ, who does a bunch of awesome football content and is
oh,
from
great.
Britain.
Follow him. Follow him. He is great.
He's like, wait. so you just kind of lived nearby, and I'm like, yeah, my dad worked there, but like, yeah, bleed orange and blue for this team. Like, so and like so much of the other stuff, like whether it's the A&M yell leaders or like jump
That's a cult.
around in Wisconsin, like none of this is rational. And so like if we want to have some fun and have the like I don't know, like the Chico's Bail Bond Myrtle Beach Bowl, I'm in favor of it. Like, why not?
I
I
get
think
it.
I think
Yeah.
I think as fans though, it's like, and it's it's so hard to like see both sides of things. So Mills often talks about how the players are making business decisions and stuff like that. But as a fan, you want to see as many games as you can see, and that's what's exciting about this year. And I think we got two extra bonus games this year just from the
Yeah,
fear,
it's
just for
free football, man.
yeah, and it's awesome because what a sour taste it is the past few years where your last game is against Tech, and that's just the end of the season. And so,
Right.
to get two bonus games for, that's awesome, man. So, yeah, I'm excited about that.
And it's something where like you can see the organizational and kind of operational changes within this program that gives you the indication that this is a part of a transformation, not just kind of like one random Linsanity run because of like, we have special players, but it's not like one special player completely transformed everything and it's still the same operation. Like we're building a battleship right now from
Right.
like for the up to this point much maligned Dr. Carla Williams. Shout out her. Like they wrote her off and she didn't write back.
Yeah, it's so funny because I think one game Sean and I saw her, we were like 10 feet away from her, and Mill's like, "You should have told her this. You should have told her that." And, and we did, and thank goodness. But it is really interesting because it almost seems like there's like Elliot's been building a culture there. And
Yes.
now that he's getting some of the tools to fill his vision, that is coming to fruition. And I think that this game is important from that regards. Like it's a statement game in that,
Yeah.
we failed at the ACC game. Like you said, these guys, they got to flush it, move on. And this game that's why I think this game is really important to us and as a program. And just as it was when we were making some progress with Bronco. And I was really surprised. I saw on 247 like some of the possibilities of guys coming back next year.
Yeah.
And I was actually pretty blown away with like the possibility that Trell could come back, and Edrin has I thought Edrin was done. And by the way,
From your lips to God's ears.
when it comes to Edrin, I've been so impressed with his hand strength and his ability to pluck balls and pull them in. It's just, and there's just the offensive line is another example. Like, yeah, we're losing some guys, but there's I didn't know Drake Metcalf feels like he's been here for 10 years, but apparently he has a potential another year left in
Yeah.
him. And, having a good center, and he's demonstrated that he can play that position. So, I mean, they got to keep the ball rolling going into next year. And I think winning that game definitely is a motivator for the decision for these guys. So,
It, tell me if you guys feel the same way about this because I came to this thought a couple days ago. Tony Elliott, maybe better than any other kind of mentee to mentor relationship, took the best parts of what Dabo did at Clemson, and it seems like he's adjusted to the new era by taking the parts of that worked. Like when you hire an offensive coordinator from a Power Five team like Clemson, you're expecting like scheme guru, heavy recruiter, like the high flying stuff. And it seems like he's come over and in the past 3 years has kind of built the organization and the culture that Dabo had at Clemson in that heyday and is like adjusting it to the modern day. It's really interesting to watch.
yeah, I
So
mean, do you like you remember the portal Tony Elliott memes that we would see where he's got the cash
the
like
chain,
those are
Yeah.
great. And I'm sorry to cut you off, Mills, but you know, I listened to you a couple of weeks back where you're talking about don't get hung up on these stars that we're seeing, the 3-star, the portal rankings and stuff like that. I think that kind of stuff comes in time. And yeah, you're 100% right that he's bringing the winning culture and the philosophies that Dabo was, the family perspective and just how the great aspects of Dabo and just modifying it with the portal and UVA and being flexible and try to move this team forward. I think
Yeah.
it's great.
You know what? And I'll talk a little bit about Elliott real quick. Like, Deuce, what you were saying is when he first came, I was high in, like, because I was excited about like he came when coming off those two national championships with Clemson.
Yeah.
The recruits, his name was always tied to the big name recruit. So I'm thinking we might not get the 5 star, but we'll get these solid 4 stars to come. And he had that really rough first year, and
Yeah.
that second year, he's just community and a team together because
Yeah.
that first year was terrible. Um, and then I was like, do you, and Ben kind of talked me off a little ledge. I was like, do you rip the band-aid off and can this guy and start over? And Ben was like, dude, how many times can UVA literally start over before the whole like fan base just finally gives up and just says, hey, we're a basketball school. We don't care anymore. Because
Yeah.
to Ben's credit, Ben's like, hey, we can say this, but maybe you switch to a different OC, that like, you know, you kind of opened me up that Deuce. You go back and watch a game, and I did that because you had pointed it out. He does call a decent game with the players he has.
Yeah.
And maybe it does open up when he does get more talent pool on his team. But I was a firm believer, get rid of Dez, and I'll still say it. I think that for the longest time, I wanted Tony Elliott to take over play calling, and we don't know, like you said, we don't know who's making these plays. And you kind of, with you being in football and you knowing this, you kind of opened us up like, oh, this actually might be someone else making this call on third down, not Dez.
Yeah.
And you know, so I kind of retract like everything I say like negative, but I think next year is going to be very important because of the season we had this year, and if we can get back to 8 or 9 wins, like especially the 9 win mark, if we can get
Yeah.
to that 9 mark, then you really open up to these high school kids because I think they're the most affected by this whole portal because
Yeah.
Lane Kiffin even said it. Like, why would I go to a high school kid right now when I can go puck anybody up from the portal I want
Yeah.
and they're game ready? So I think this is a good opportunity for next season to start strong.
Yeah. And I think when you combine like the family culture things that Tony's brought over from Clemson and like the other part of at a certain point when you're at a school like the University of Virginia, after a certain point you are kind of over invested. It's like, do I just stick this out and I end up with a great degree, or do I just or do I go somewhere else and kind of reset the whole thing? You know, it's and to your point, Mills, if this can be proved to be a repeatable recipe, I think you're going to see increased fan buy-in. You're going to see increased like faith in everyone's still like you can still feel some parts of the fan base are in. All right, wait and see.
Also, and to back to what Ben was talking about with Carla, I was very critical about her at first, but if you look at her I'll give it last one year, bringing in Odom for basketball, and
Oh,
then immediately you lost probably behind Bennett or tied with Bennett, the most influential coach in Coach Oak, and
absolutely.
immediately plucked somebody who was literally 2 strikes away from the College World Series in Pollard.
Yeah.
And if UVA baseball can get back to not even Omaha, but if they can get back to a super regional, like
Hmm.
you're setting up for everyone's you're high on football. Basketball's already started off straight, and if baseball can continue that whole year, this could be a great year. And Ben brought this up. Ben's like, hey, we could have one of the best UVA years that we've ever seen with
Yes.
football to basketball to baseball. And also lacrosse, and I'm going to throw this out. Shout out to my boy Jake, lacrosse guy. The Memorial Day weekend, championship weekend, it's going to be held at Scott Stadium. Like,
Yes,
how cool is that going to be? You know, it's going to be a great year.
It just
absolutely.
it just dawned on me, I think we're 2-1 against Duke if you count the pluck of the coach. So, 1-1 football, pluck their
Yeah.
away, we're 2-1. So let's hope basketball we keep that streak going as well. So I know we're going off topic with the sports, but Mills is like a Olympic sport guru when it comes to UVA. So
And I think if we're talking about Dr. Williams, it is important to mention the other sports because the a lot of the culture around UVA, there is a heavy emphasis on the Olympic sports, on sports other than football. And so when we got Carla from Georgia, in my mind at first, I was like, oh, we're getting an 80 from Georgia. Like, I'm the Kirby Smart meme. Like, oh, yeah, it's about to be about football. And to her credit, she made sure the other sports were good so that she could kind of tear this thing down to the studs, pick the right coach, and build back up from square one. Like you said,
and
Mills, this she could be up for like sports AD of the year.
And
And if you look at those three coaches, I mean, they were all very abrupt departures. They weren't firing. So Bronco
Hmm.
left kind of abruptly. I mean, I know there's rumors and this and that. I don't know. I'm not inside like that of what those conversations were with Bronco, but Bronco, Bennett, and Coach O'Connor, like those were very abrupt, and she had to pivot. And I think she's done a good job, filling those gaps. And
Those are hard second acts to follow, man.
and I know we've talked in very in depth, and we constantly come back. But talk about a wild beginning to Coach Elliott's career at UVA. I mean, it's just first year and second year and third year. That's an interesting mix of how his career.
We're gonna look back on the beginning of that JMU game in year two, and like it's gonna be like that was the start. Like the national people are thinking, oh, Florida State was the start. This thing really did start, I think, when Mike Collins scored that touchdown. Like I think like people are gonna look back at that and be like, man, okay, that was when this thing truly, truly started.
yeah, I would
And I
agree.
think, and I know we're like way off topic, but when you look at like even UVA's schedule going into next year, you feel pretty optimistic about
Yeah.
them being able to duplicate the success. I know that there's been some changes. I think ACC's made some changes with the scheduling and stuff like that. So,
We would need a whole other 40 minutes for Mills to get his thoughts out on this.
right. So I mean, like I said, I'm sorry about that, but
No, you're good.
I'm just
Sorry.
saying, like I think they have potential to have another solid outing next year and
Yeah.
prove themselves. And who knows who they're going to get in the portal? It's like
Yeah,
Mill said at the beginning of the as Mill said at the beginning of the year, he had like no expectations, but I mean, everything looked good on the outset to me anyway. I was very optimistic with the
If
players.
if I were a recruit, I'd see what they're doing at Virginia. I'd be like, man, it seems like not only are they willing to shell out the coin, not only are they winning football games, but it seems like these people genuinely have a good time being around each other. People like being in Charlottesville. Shout out Corner Media for putting the players out in front of there. Because, like, if you're seeing a guy like Donovan Platt hosting that show, talking to the guys on the team, like that's a great way to be like, man, I think I'd enjoy hanging out with that guy. Like that's a guy I want to have a beer with, or that's a guy I want in the foxhole with me. Like shout out to them because I think that is a underrated recruiting tool right now.
I love
right. And
corner. I've been loving corner media lately. I just think that just and they're linking up with some of the guys from the past, with Matt Schwab and
Yes.
and and Armstrong, and it's just like for whatever reason, I guess maybe Armstrong leaving to North Carolina State left a little bit of a weird taste in your mouth, maybe, but just to kind of hear back from their perspective and know that they're still diehard UVA fans still is awesome. So
And I think most people, I think, kind of get it with Brennan. Like obviously, and most of that offensive staff after Bronco leaves, going to NC State. Like I think most people at this point have kind of seen that as water under the bridge and remember all the good times and all the amazing touchdown passes and
mhm.
like it's crazy. Like with Chandler Morris, we have Brennan Armstrong without the interceptions.
Well, I told
That's
Sean, by the way, Sean had a redhead baby, so I was like, hey, look,
Yeah.
our most proficient passer ever was a redhead too, so don't worry, man.
it's and just you got to be excited though about where we're at. In years past, Ben will call me after the season. It's like, well, man, basketball season after Tech, and it's like he'll be like, basketball will be going through, and then the National Signing Day, and Ben goes, "Hey, what do you think we're gonna do?" I said, "Can we win 4 games? Can we win three?" Like, and now it's like, why not 9? Why not 10? Why not, get to that 11-1? But it's baby stuff, and I don't think this is going to be flipped tomorrow. We're going to be in the playoff, but we're on that media rate. We're on that trajectory going up. So it's fun. It
This
definitely gets
logo
me
will
excited.
get us bumped up a couple points in like 5 years. Like the helmet sticker
Okay.
tax. That might like we need to still work on it, but we're in the path to that being a helmet sticker bonus.
Hey, Deuce,
Yeah.
do you feel like a new standard has been set for UVA football? Like, I think some of the expectations were a little low going into the season, but it feel like that's why the game was such a big letdown because the what ifs. But has a new standard been set?
I would say unquestionably so. I mean, I think that there's a hunger up and down the roster. When I was talking with Xander yesterday, this was so apparent just in his interactions with the players. Like the new standard has been set, and there's a lot of senior leadership that has kept this in line. Coaching staff continuity has been a huge part of this because not only are you having that from the coaching staff that's been there this whole time, you have guys that even if they're hurt, like Monroe Mills is staying on the guys. He's right on the bench. He's there the whole time. Like there is a new standard, a new way of doing things. And shoot, man, flush the damn toilets. It's. I think the results are so evident that people can't help but fall in line.
Hmm. Yeah, speaking of coaching staff, I see that we lost a defensive analyst. Not can't remember exactly where he's going, but I think he was only here with us this year. Any room for Dex to come back or what?
Man, I
I,
so Dex was on the coaching staff in the early 2000s, and you could not tell me there wasn't a cooler person on earth than Anthony Poindexter. Like he had like the Nikes on with like the springs on the heel. Man,
Oh,
I thought those were the coolest shoes ever, and like Dex has just kind of a swag to him, like you want to buy in on the guy. Like I don't know where we'd fit him in. Like make him the damn toilet flushing consultant for all I care. Like
well, my big thing is I just don't want to see him go with Franklin, and that's the big
no,
thing. So,
I hope that's a bridge too far. I really hope it
uh,
is.
also,
yeah.
you know what, and I feel bad for Dex. I don't feel like has been given a true shot yet. He's always been a co-defensive coordinator. I think he's deserves the opportunity to be the actual main person. Um, I could even see him going to like an FCS school and start like as a head coach. I think he's done his time. He's
VMI's open. Danny Rocco's heading over to Virginia Tech.
he left VMI.
Yes, he left VMI, so he's going over to Virginia Tech. Him and James have been tight for a while, and like Rocco's a great coach and a great dude. So like, best of luck to him. So VMI's open. Who knows? Um, I did want to touch. I had my moments of doubt with the way the football program is going at various points, and the ultimate question is, okay, if you're upset with this coach, who are you gonna replace him with? And man, the answer right up until last year or up until this year with how Penn State's played for me was Dex. And I hope that Dex is able to figure out a good spot to be in, regardless of like whatever happens with Penn State, because I do think at some point down the line, who knows what the future holds. But
The way I see it is like I hope he lands on his feet in the best place possible for him. But
Mhm.
hey, man, if you don't have anywhere, we I would love to see us extend that olive branch and pay him some money. That's really what it boils down to, just pay him some money and have him back in the family and go where just for the year. Maybe he wants to take a year off. In
No,
terms of like in terms of when you're talking about like the next guy, like I've always been a big Jason Beck fan. So,
mm.
you know, I I think he's done really great over at Utah and, you know, curious to see where he ends up at. But
Well, and Dex doesn't have anything left to prove to UVA fans, in my opinion, with his time as
Mhm.
a player's assistant coach. So, like, if he's like, you know what, I like where I stand in UVA, I'm always welcome in Charlottesville. I'm not going to go out and risk that by being the head coach. I also wouldn't blame him either.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I want to ask you
Man.
guys something. So, heading into this Gator Bowl, obviously we have one game left of this year, but up until this point, what's the favorite moment of the season?
Mm.
I well, I mean, there's so many great feelings that come there's so many great plays that we saw throughout the year. I mean, obviously, people are going to want to point to the Florida State pass breakup to
Yeah.
win that game. Um, man, I'm trying to think of my like absolute favorite. And I mean, honestly, just summing up the whole entire Tech game was like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It just was you were there. The energy there was just amazing, and
That
just
was
like
awesome.
and everybody was happy because it was like a weight was lifted.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know if you really got the same feeling from a lot of the other games. Like, I wouldn't say I was really thrilled about a lot of the close games that we won. And that's basically why we call ourselves the cardiac ooze. But man, I'd probably say the Tech game in its totality was my favorite moment
Yeah.
about the season.
I think I got two. So I was at the Florida State and Sean would let me like get closer to rushing the field part. He was like, "You have to stay in this seat till we can run till we win." He's very superstitious. Um, just seeing that, at the time they were top 10, number 8 in the country, and you beat them Friday night. Everybody was watching that game because that was the only game on for college football. And you pull that upset, and then, Florida State didn't help our cause by, laying an egg the rest of the season.
Yeah.
But also, I guess the main play that I was really excited about was the North Carolina 2-point conversion stop.
Yep.
You could have literally, if they scored that, and Ben brought it up, kind of, if they scored that, how deflating would that have been?
Season goes totally differently, if you ask me.
Right.
I was
And
fired up after that game.
right, watching your TikToks and you walking back and
Oh,
forth,
I was
it's
I
been
was fired up.
I think that was a very just unreal moment because you're like, I think I texted the group. I was like, oh, this game's over. Bill's going for two. He's got
Yep.
something master planned. He's gonna get something. And then Cam Robson laying the stick and hitting and stopping it is a big moment.
Man,
Speaking of speaking of Cam, it's also disappointing, because we didn't get to see him for the entirety of the year. But I mean, he had I feel like this was his best season yet, in my opinion. Like he had such a great showing, and it's a bummer because I feel like if he had played the entirety of the season, like there's a lot of what ifs of what his accolades would have been. But
yeah.
man, he had some highlights this year.
Hopefully Jacob Rodriguez goes to the NFL so Cam Robinson can do the award sweep this upcoming year because Jacob Rodriguez obviously had an insane season. So I won't harsh his buzz at all. But the other question, and this is one I've been waiting to ask you guys because this
Uh,
is go for it if you got something before.
I was gonna say, what was yours? I would love to hear yours.
Who man, I was good and fired up because I love beating UNC. Like because I'm from the era where it was Julius Peppers and Ronald Curry. That was my
Yep.
introduction to UVA football, and those UNC teams were a bear to beat. Um, my answer constantly damn changes. The delay of game against Washington State just always kind of sticks in my mind because I feel like that was a light bulb moment for our fan base. We're like, oh, we can be that school that does that to people.
Yeah.
Maddox Marcellus's interception against Virginia Tech also, like, the amount that I just exhaled, I was like, oh my God, it's happening.
Yeah.
I think like if you really like look at the season as all, and the story's not done yet. We still have one more game, which is like I said, it's amazing. We're getting all these extra games.
Right.
But if you wrote this season out in a book, like what a page turner we had this year, you know. So
I wish we could get like an old 80s style NFL films edit of this year. Like I would love to get like the old John Facenda style
yeah, that'd be
Yes.
awesome.
narration.
Yes.
I bet you could pump that into AI and get it right away. So
Oh, I hope we can.
So what was your question? What do you have for us?
All right, this is one that I always treasure asking every guest on the 4-3-4 defense, and some people are not from Charlottesville, so their answers can get a little wonky, but I know that we'll have two good answers on here. Mills, Ben, what are your Bodo orders?
I got two. Day. When are we doing this? Because
All
it
right,
depends.
not 9 a.m. on a Saturday morning before UVA football game.
So great. I got two orders, and my wife and I kind of split it on the second one. But the first one is an everything bagel, egg and cheese bagel. Boom. Everything bagel. The second is probably everyone's gonna be like, you're lame. I like a traditional plain bagel with just original cream cheese. Toasted, warm, boom.
I can't hit on a cream cheese bagel. Like I ain't gonna hit
It's
on that.
so those that's mine. So those are my two. When I go there, that's when I get. I get the egg and cheese, everything bagel, and then the plain cream cheese.
That's Jamari Taylor going for 5 yards. You can't go broke with that.
You can't.
All right, Ben, what's the Bodo's order?
ooh, man, I've got to be honest with you. Like, I'm not tuned in like that. I'm not locked in like that. So, what I want to do is make a deal with you is that next time you're in town, you got to introduce me to it.
Ooh, okay. I will gladly introduce you to Bodo's. I'm
Uh,
an everything bagel sausage egg and cheese guy with a black coffee.
okay.
Ooh,
I,
okay.
I'm trying to think of that joint that's in Alabama that Saban always talked about. Do you remember that joint? I have to look
Oh,
it up. It's a similar vibe too. Like
yeah, I'm trying to remember what.
that's the feeling I get. So, like you said, our Wazoo game, our fans should that they could be that fan base. Look, we could be that bagel fan base as well.
Yes.
So and you take me there, show me around, and I could tell all the people that I know that have transplanted from New York that just trash on there not being a good bagel place in Virginia. I'd be like, look, you gotta drive about an hour and a half from here.
They are the best bagels south of Washington, D.C. I will
Okay.
stand I will like because like look, you go to a bodega in the Bronx or Brooklyn and you go to a place where like they're actually making the bagels like a good Jewish deli like that, the bagels are gonna be objectively better. But like you get south of DC, Bodo's is gonna be the best place possible.
You know, I
Well,
saw your Deuce. I was gonna say what I saw. What you would bring up is if UVA has to have a patch on their jersey, go ahead and Bodo. Give me a Bodo's bagel
Yes,
emblem.
if we're selling out, I want us to sell out to Bodo's.
if we're talking bagels, bread, and dough, you sticking to your Panera routine coming into Missouri?
Oh yes, that will be my tailgate meal.
Okay.
We're
That was so
I'm
funny.
not
That was so
superstitious. I'm
funny
a
when you
little
showed up with that.
oh when I showed you so for context, I showed up to the Cardiac Who's tailgate with Panera in tow, and they had like an amazing food spread ready, and I was like, guys, I gotta have this. But man,
Shout out to Sean for that spread.
that it was a great tailgate. It was awesome, but the Bodos powered us to victory. And man,
So I like to do score predictions, Deuce. Ben
yeah.
hates this. Ben hates score predictions. So, what is your score prediction for this game?
Okay, so I have a tough time in my mind having a clear vision of how this game is going to go. Um, because I could see it going close game, blowout either way. Like, I don't want to see it that way, but I can see it going either way. But I think this is going to be a very tough physical football game, and so the score I think is going to be a little bit lower. I think I'm gonna go with 17-13 UVA. This thing is gonna be like Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of rushing yards and a lot of field goals.
I am I'm going, here's my ideal, just how to cap everything off. And I'm gonna bring back to my boy Will because he's going home to Florida. And I think he's going to prove me wrong and 6 yard field goal to win it 23-21. Walk
Woo!
off.
What was that yardage?
46. You remember I always said he can't kick over 45, so I'm gonna say a walk off 46 yarder.
Money in the
Laces out.
bank, Betteridge.
Yeah, I guess this is a homecoming game for Antonio Clary, I believe. So
Yes, it is.
hope, I hope he's got some. I hope he shows out for this one. So I mean, but I agree with you. I think it's gonna be a real physical game, and it's gonna depend on whether Jamari can get the ball, get his that keep continue to get his rushing yard average. So I'd like to see a score over 20. So I'm
Mhm.
gonna say 21. Ah, I like when people say like, "What Mills? What did your wife say the score was gonna be for the Virginia Tech game?" Sorry, he said it was a real
Uh,
funny.
it
And you're
was
like,
a lot to a little. It was 30 something to 4. She said 4, and I was like,
A,
that.
a scoreagami. I like it.
I said, why 4? She goes, I don't know, why not? And I was like, okay,
I'm gonna say 21-17. So I'm always gonna say UVA is gonna win the game.
yeah.
I think that, and while I'm on that point, I think that's something that I'm gonna preach to UVA fans that you got to be positive. You got to start getting that swagger, and I think that's something that when we play Virginia Tech, like you got to go in there and say we're gonna beat y'all today, and it's got to be that every single game that we're gonna win every game. So that's my message to the fans
We're It's
is
it's get it's getting there because like I live outside of where most Virginia fans live, and like I'm always wearing UVA gear, wearing my UVA hat, and people in like Publix or Wawa down here are like, man, Virginia's been something this year, and like I live for reference right across the Everglades from Miami, and the Gulf Coast of Florida is typically Seminole country, and then UCF and USF had banner or USF had a banner year. UCF is growing and like people are noticing Virginia football. So like if you are kind of in the UVA bubble, know that people outside of here are noticing what's going on. So yeah, we're the swagger, man. It's a hell of a time to be a Virginia Cavalier fan and like enjoy it because nothing in life and football is ever promised or guaranteed and be very proud of where this team has gone, where this team is was just a couple years ago, and just man, be excited, like be present.
Yeah, I was grinning ear to ear on Thanksgiving. My cousin came into town and he grew up here. He grew up in the same city and everything as myself. Um, but he's since located down to Florida, Florida State fans now. Okay, I mean, whatever. So, but just my grin ear to ear, like because he wore Florida like a Florida State pullover to Thanksgiving, and man, I was like, I could just, it was so nice just to be like, yeah, we got
He's like the meme of the dude mining and turned around right before the diamonds.
right, right, yeah, and I have to be honest, like it sometimes it's a little tough. I know a lot, but this year was definitely way easier. But even after Duke lost, I made it a point to wear my Virginia gear out when I went because I go grocery shopping every Sunday for the most part.
Yeah,
Publix, Publix, ironically, with the Florida connection there. So,
the People's
but
Republic of Publix.
so yeah, but like that guy with the tech shirt on, I'm looking him in the eye. We're walking down the aisle, like staring him down. Yeah, you look down. You look down. I'll get the sleep on the bottom row, but but yeah.
Well, and if this bowl game comes down to who wants to play more football and who's really excited to be out there and be in the stands, be on the field, Virginia by a million. Like there is like no one is like, oh man, we're playing this weird bowl game. Like even though people are disappointed we missed out on the playoff, I don't think I've heard any like, oh, this game doesn't mean anything. Like everyone from like the unaffiliated fan podcasts such as us to the people on the Twitter burners to Tony Elliott, everyone is in lockstep that this game is important and it means something.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Right.
awesome. And I think that like people kind of yeah, there was a little bit of hurt and everything the first couple of days, but I think everybody was able to take a step back and I think people were able to give Duke the credit that was due because I think they just had a little bit of a tough stretch and didn't execute for the whole season. Duke didn't, but Duke is a really talented team,
Man,
and
that Tulane loss looks awesome.
yeah, you know what I mean. Though, like I just feel like I think when people got the whole perspective of like who we lost to and everything like that, and it was I think just the salt in the wound was just how we lost, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. And but yeah, man, I think UVA pride is back, man.
Mills,
Awesome.
like I feel like you're the guy who's kind of skeptical in the bowl game. So like
For the chance for the 11th win. Um, it's also good only to see like one or two that's hit the portal. So like you said, the boys are invested, they're locked in. And to your credit, Deuce, this isn't not like your Nokia XM bowl game in Frisco, Texas, whatever they're at. This is a bowl game that has, history behind it.
yeah.
Um, so this bowl does will go well in the trophy case with all the other ones that we've gotten with the Continental Tire Bowl and you know, you know, it's like the New Year's Six bowls because those are gonna
Yeah.
be eaten up by the playoffs. So now it's like if you don't make the playoffs, at least get to the Outback Bowl and all these the bowls that have history behind it. So
You can hang you can hang a Gator Bowl banner up in the facility. No one's gonna look at you sideways. Like
no,
people are very much in lockstep, and like I do think this like if you are an unaffiliated college football fan and if you've made it an hour into a UVA football podcast, my hat goes off to you. But like if you want to watch two football teams that are really good and excited to be there, this is a great bowl game to watch. Like these are two teams that I think are very excited to be there, very energized to see because obviously Mizzou gets a look at a new quarterback and a freshman and a young guy that's and working hard, I assume, to get ready for this game. Like this will be, I think, one of the best non-playoff bowl games.
that's true. I agree.
Also, shout out
Another potential signature win for Tony, right? So,
big game Tony.
Is
So
this considered like he's undefeated after a bye? Is this considered a bye
oh,
because he's got such a long break?
I would call this a bye. I think that
Okay.
Sean kept talking about that, and I was like, man, you almost burned us with that Wazoo game, man. We came out and come on, don't even say it. So, but
if if
Yeah.
if there's anyone like from this team that you guys would want on the Cardiac Who's podcast, like once this whole thing's wrapped up and like the guys are turning the page the next year, who would you guys want to have on if you could pick one player?
hmm, hmm.
Milton.
Ooh,
Who?
Milton.
Oh man, I don't know. Like, I think Goldie would be a great conversation. Just because
I take it back. I know who mine is. Sorry. I know. I got mine.
go ahead.
Cam Ross. Bring the
ooh.
JMU love into this. Come on, I forgot. Just give me Cam Ross.
Every time
You
Cam Ross made a big play, I would send them the Duke's meme to or emoji or whatever you want to call it. I'm dating myself, but I would send that image to Mills in the group text. Like, and Mills, you gotta remember, you and I, you weren't. you were kind of skeptical about that pickup, but I was pumped up about him, and he's really delivered this year. You know,
Paid
uh,
dividends, man.
absolutely.
He was injured a lot at JMU. You know, it was one of those things where he just couldn't really stay healthy. But when he was electric when he on kickoff and punt return, he was electric for
Yeah.
the
Honestly,
Dukes.
I think I know he's like a star and a stud, but Jamari Taylor, because the more I'm seeing about Jamari Taylor in his personal life, finding out he has a pet snake and he's into Legos. I mean, he's a guy that would be a great conversation, just real interesting conversation. I'm 100% sure about that.
He's getting close to like most interesting man in the world territory.
Right.
Yeah.
Whatever NFL team gets him, oh my God. Like be like watch out because that dude like I don't know where they people have him projected on drafts and running backs in the NFL are weird nowadays, but like if he ends up going to like say the Raiders or not the Raiders because they have Genty, but like some other NFL team out west that has never heard of Jamari Taylor, like they are in for a really pleasant surprise.
Guy's a
Yeah,
stud.
very true.
I'm biased. I want to see him split carries with Cam Scatterboo in New York. Talk about thunder and lightning combo.
What an eclectic group that is.
If I could get anyone on, I want to fight with I want to have a debate with Drake Metcalf over the merits of playing in Brazil. I kind of have
Yes.
I'm pro Brazil game just for kind of the shits and giggles of it, for lack of a better word. But like, and I see
Yeah.
his point. Also, I just want to talk to him about the season because he's had a very interesting year. Being a part of that line group, I would love a chance to get to talk to him.
Yeah, you should get him on.
I'd
Oh,
hope
he
so.
knows.
He was the first UVA player to interact with any of my stuff. So like Drake has been like one of my guys on this.
Nice. Love it. Love it.
But yeah, man, thank you guys so much for your time hopping on the podcast. Obviously, it was a great time being on the Cardiac Who's podcast. Please go check them out. I will have all their links in the description. It was great seeing you guys at the Virginia Tech game. And, obviously great to link up again. We'll have to do it again soon. But man, thank you guys so much for your time.
Thanks for having us on.
Absolutely. Thanks, man.
Absolutely. And with that, to our viewers, thank you so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Check out the Cardiac Who's podcast. Check us out on all of our social platforms. Thank you so much. Have a great night and go Who's.